Go back to corporate bailouts, AIG, the whole mess. Should we be doing that? Should we be bailing out corporations?
No, of course not. Of course not. Everything has a life of its own. There's a life cycle that everything goes through, whether it's us as individuals or businesses. When a business gets to the point that it can't sustain itself on its earnings, then it's got to cut back. It's got to reduce down. It's got to be able to operate on its own. If not, what's the purpose of having that business? If it becomes a burden, as this has become on taxpayers, it's defeated its purpose. So I think we look at those things pretty practically. That again, I'm kind of mystified that we keep thinking there's some magic wand out there for all this, or that, again, as I said earlier, that Big Brother is going to come and take care of us. So we have this vision of this knight in shining armor on this white horse come running in and save the day. Well, I got to tell you, the answer's in the mirror. Look in the mirror. That's the guy who's going to save it for you. If we don't start looking at it that way, then we're wrong. Don't be looking out the window for help. Look inside for help. And I think we've placed way, way, way too much faith in the fact that a government can handle all our problems. It can't. It has to be handled locally. It has to be handled individually. It has to be handled with a great deal of responsibility towards ourselves and to our future.
Last question. This is the tough one. Healthcare, huge issue. And suddenly we're going to fund it all. What are your thoughts on how the government should manage healthcare?
Well,
let me correct that question. We're not going to manage it. We're not going to let them manage it. Are we doing the right thing by creating universal health care? Tough question, but
no, I don't think it's tough at all. I think that, again, all right, looking to the wrong place for the answers. If it was truly about the quality of health care and the cost of health care, then that's what we should have addressed. We should not have looked to some one answer to it. It isn't. It's not one answer. We know that. We know that right now we have absolutely no idea what the cost of this program is going to be. They don't. They don't know. I mean, Nancy Pelosi says herself, we have to pass the bill to find out what's in it. Really?
Yeah.
Now, I would.
Would you run your business that way?
Well, can you imagine? Listen, I sell cars, right? Now, I say to you, Tom, I want you to buy this car from me. I can't tell you what it's going to cost, but I want you to sign the contract. And by the way, you don't get to drive it out of the showroom today. You can't take possession of it for 3 or 4 years down the road, but you're going to start making payments today. You look at me and say, hey Mike, you know what? I think I got to find another guy to sell me a car. And I think we've been sold a bill of goods here. Again, this idea that government's going to solve all your problems. It's ridiculous. I believe in this country, everybody has the right to health care. But I don't think that they should look to the government to supply it. I think we're falling in the wrong.
Let the free market figure out a way to help people that can't afford health care.
Well,
maybe.
Absolutely. Now they're saying that there was 30 million uninsured people. Who came up with that number? I mean, a lot of it are people that chose not to be covered for whatever reason. A lot of young folks say, look, I don't need that today.
And the other issue is caps on health care anyway. You got a $2 million, maybe a $1 million cap on a health policy, and someone has a cancer bill of $4 million. That's another issue. Yeah.
Well, you got to look into why are costs so high. You know, if you go to a hospital, I can't turn you away.
No.
Now, who picks up the tab? Well, maybe it doesn't cost that person, but somebody else is picking up the tab on it. It gets rolled into the person who can pay.
Yeah.
So I think, again, we've lost the focus on it. And we come up with this idea that the government knows best. No, it doesn't work that way.
In the last couple of minutes here, feel free to summarize why you're running. Why are you taking this on? And what's your philosophy towards the office you are running for?
I only have a couple of minutes to say all this.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well,
more than a couple.
Yeah,
you know. That's a tough question, and it's your opportunity to say what you feel.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you, it sounds like a tough question, but it's not a tough question. And for your listeners and for people that have grown up in this country and were raised by folks who taught us responsibility from day one, we all have a responsibility, not just to ourselves, but to our children and to our children's children. This is not an ownership. This is a stewardship. And we were given this great opportunity. And the idea behind it, when you're given that opportunity, is you're supposed to make it better for the people that you're going to pass it on to. This is truly a relay. You know, it's a relay race, really. My parents gave me something. I run with the baton as hard and as long as I can. Then I pass it on to my kids. But I don't want to give them something that they don't want.